Hello and welcome to Rathodsias Academy. Today in this session we are going to see full paper analysis of your GS paper 2. So this is the UPSC paper and I am going to analyze each and every question and I will be giving you the value addition content, everything. So please do watch until last. So don't skip this. So first of all, tell me what are the subjects in your GS paper 2 as usual. Okay, GS paper 2 subjects, polity. Next one is governance. Subjects IR and social justice. Okay, so here introduction of your answers of polity, what you have to write? Introduction of polity. So for geography you will be writing definitions of current affairs, and what for this polity you have to start with articles or schedules or part of your constitution or any Supreme Court judgment. So this is a thing that you have to include in your introduction of your polity. And what about governance? It is mostly current affairs. So you can write current affairs related data or report regarding this governance. And what about this IR? What can you write? You can use current affairs or else historical connotation of relationship between India and that country. Okay, history. And what about social justice? It is mostly current affairs based. Clear about introduction? Shall we start our exercise? Okay, so before that, what about conclusion? So how can you write this conclusion part of polity? Can you give any way forward for constitution, everything? No, you have to give summary or summation. And for governance, you can give way forward. And for IR, you can give way forward, and social justice, way forward. Is that clear about introduction and conclusion before starting our exercise? And I'm expecting maximum answers from you itself. Okay, be ready. So first question, read this. Examine the need for electoral reforms as suggested by various committees with particular reference to one nation, one election principle. Online guys, so please do focus. So what is the first step? You have to read a question at least twice. And after reading question, what is the step? You have to identify keyword. And third step is you have to identify number of sub-questions. Yes or no? Okay, so read this question. Online guys, is that clear? So read the question and what is the keyword? One nation, one election. So what is the other name of this? Simultaneous elections. Did you wrote answer regarding the simultaneous election question? Oh, yes, right? So the same question. So so what is the demand of this question? What is the need for electoral reforms which is suggested by various committees with particular reference to one nation, one election. Actually, this is in news from 2018 onwards. So this is new for you guys, for foundation students. So recently, why this one nation, one election is in news? Which committee recommendations? Ramnath Kovind recommendations, right? Ramnath Kovind recommendations gave the suggestion for we can go for simultaneous elections, and cabinet had been approved. Because of this is in news, right? So apart from this COVID committees, there are other committee recommendations also which suggested this one nation, one elections. Okay, so how can you write introduction? You can write about current affairs. So recently, Union Cabinet approved the proposal for simultaneous elections across the country. So it is talking about the polls for Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, and this committee also saying about local bodies, and it is as per Ramnath Kovind committee. So I want to make you a note regarding other committees which gave recommendations regarding this simultaneous. So first one, you know about this Ramnath Kovind committee. So next one is Law Commission. So Law Commission's 21st law report which had been given in 2018, which also said that yes, we can go with this committee, we can go with this simultaneous elections. So if you're going with the simultaneous elections, what will be the advantages? We can reduce the cost, and even we can decrease the strain or stress on administration structures and as well as security forces. And second one is department which is related to Parliamentary Standing Committee on Personal and Public Grievances in his 79th report also recommend that yes, we can go for simultaneous elections. And even Niti Aayog in 2017 also recommended for moving with this. But the question is not asking about this, but for your knowledge I gave this. So just you have to focus on what is the need. Now tell me what is the need of simultaneous elections, or what are the advantages of simultaneous elections? Tell me fast. Okay, decreasing of expenditure. Next, come on, you wrote that points. Focusing on governance, there will be no policy paralysis. Next, voter turnout will be increased or decreased? Increased. Next, is corruption can be decreased? Next, come on. Already you wrote now. Then, come on, from this side. Okay, see, we can reduce election expenditure and we can minimize governance disruption. That means we can prevent policy paralysis. We can reduce administrative and security burden, which gave in the report itself. And this one is we can ensure policy continuity and long-term planning and political stability. And we can prevent misuse of money power. And we can boost voter turnout and engagement of voters. We can strengthen relationship between center and state, that is cooperative federalism, and even we can reduce social and political tensions. How many points are there? Can you explain that? Can you write within 100 words? Yes. These points that you wrote in your answers also, right? So check in your books once. Is that clear with this first question, guys? Online, guys? Okay, see the second question. Explain and distinguish between Lok Adalats and arbitration tribunals, whether they entertain civil as well as criminal cases, question mark. So, I think polity, you don't know, yes, right? Okay, I will give you one hint so that you can tell me like why this question is in news. So, what is the problem in judiciary? Okay, first let me tell you. So, these Lok Adalats and arbitration tribunals are alternate dispute resolution mechanism. Clear? So, alternate dispute resolution mechanism means apart from judiciary, we are reaching this for what? To resolve the dispute. So, here you know about one of the important problem of our judiciary. What is the problem of in our judiciary? Lack of pendency of cases. Pendency of cases, and even why this collegium system is in use from last 3 days? Appointment of judges is delayed. Okay, so because of this, whenever we are filing your cases in Supreme Court or High Court, because of vacancies, because of increasing of pendency, will you get justice fast? No. So for that, we are having some alternate dispute resolution mechanism. Clear? So now in news, because of this increasing of pendency of cases, this is in paper. Can you connect with new current affairs and what is happening in your UPSC paper? Right? So here the keyword is Lok Adalats and arbitration tribunals. So what can you write in introduction? Because they are not constitutional bodies, so we can't write any articles or part of constitution or anything. So you can write about what are these actually. Like this Lok Adalats and arbitration tribunals, they are alternate dispute resolution mechanisms in India. So what is the aim of this bodies? To reduce burden on traditional courts. Which are the traditional courts? High Court, Supreme Court and district courts, and offer quicker and cost effective justice. Clear about this introduction online, guys? Cost effective means nothing but if you go to Supreme Court, is it easy? You have to pay a lot for lawyers, paperwork, everything. It is costly. But if you are going to this tribunal, it will be very simple. Okay, so now they are asking to explain. The first part is explain about this Lok Adalats and arbitration tribunals, and second part is they are asking about differences between Lok Adalats and arbitration tribunals, and third part is which cases they are taking, whether they are taking only civil cases or only criminal cases or both. So how many sub questions? 3 sub questions. Okay, now let us see the definition of this Lok Adalat. Lok Adalat, their statutory body. That means it had been established under an act. So which is that act? Legal Service Authority Acts of 1987. So you know about this Lakshmikant book. Have you heard about this Polity Lakshmikant? So in that book, it is clearly given about this Lok Adalats. Okay, you will be not getting any doubt. So if you complete one's polity, if you read that Lakshmikant, it will be very clear for you. Okay, so Lok Adalats, they are statutory bodies and they are established under this Legal Service Authorities Act. Okay, so the important aim it is to provide a platform for settlement of disputes using mediation and conciliation. And next one is arbitration tribunals, and they are also statutory bodies, but they had been established under Arbitration and Conciliation Act of 1996. And the important aim is to resolve disputes between the parties through an appointed arbiter. So there will be one middle person, so he will be resolving the issues. So that is the difference between this Lok Adalats and as well as this arbiter. And the second part here is you have to write the differences. So I clear cut gave the differences. First one is legal basis. So they are established on different acts. So that point I gave in the first. And next one is these Lok Adalats are informal, but this arbitration are formal. And here this Lok Adalat will be taking both civil and criminal cases. But arbitrary, they will be taking only civil cases. Okay, and the next one is whatever the award, whatever the judgment which is given, it is just not binding in local adults, but it is binding in that case. Okay, so you have to say exactly what are the differences. Clear? So even the third question they asked, that is whether it is taken civil case or criminal cases, I included here. So if you want, you can write at the last. Okay? No, it is another type. So say this third question. Any doubt so far? There is no need of writing examples. There will be bundles of cases. They will be resolved by this also. Yeah. Say this question. The growth of cabinet system has particularly resulted in the marginalization of parliamentary supremacy. Elucidate. So what is the keyword? Keyword. What is the keyword? Marginalization of parliamentary supremacy. Okay, have you heard this word parliamentary supremacy? What is the meaning of parliamentary supremacy? Parliament is supreme. Okay, so what is this statement is saying? So because of cabinet system, it is leading to decreasing of parliamentary supremacy. What is this cabinet? Have you heard this word cabinet? Cabinet approved. What is this cabinet? In parliament? Okay. Okay, cabinet ministers, cabinet. What is this cabinet? Yes, important ministries will be the part of this cabinet. Who is the head of this cabinet? Prime Minister. So if you know this knowledge, I will be going with this question. Okay, so actually you have to understand about cabinet system. Cabinet system is very important and entire power of that parliament is present with this cabinet system. Okay, it includes major ministers and it is headed by Prime Minister. So actually this system also copycat. So we took this from Westminster model, that is from UK. So in this cabinet system, we have Council of Ministers who led by Prime Minister and entire executive power is lying with this. Okay, so this is the cabinet system. So because of this cabinet system, so whether it is having any impact on parliamentary supremacy? Obviously. So how? Tell me. Yes, ultimate power is present with cabinet. Next. Have you got my question? So if you understand the nature of cabinet system, so because of this cabinet system in our parliament, how it is impacting parliamentary supremacy? Okay, even president also consider the decision of cabinet minister. Okay, next. Yes. Overall implementation. Okay, very good. Next. Are you getting my question? Come on, think. Okay, that will be having impact. Very good. Next. Come on, think. And here Article 75 and Article 164 talks about this. You can also include the articles. Okay, see here, cabinet system had resulted in marginalization of parliamentary supremacy by, so mostly the legislations are passed through the ordinance. So if they feel that, yes, they have to pass the bill, they can pass whenever houses are not in session. Like they can use Article 123 and Article 213. So here through this ordinances also legislation can be passed so that we are bypassing parliament, right? Houses they are not in session, we are passing the bills. And next one here is there is declining of parliamentary oversight. So normally if you see the number of sittings, so is parliament working efficiency? For example, Lok Sabha sittings are happening or not? They are happening, but if you compare with earlier, like if you are comparing with first Lok Sabha, there were 135 days of sittings, but if you see last Lok Sabha, only 55 days of sittings. And this one here is parliamentary committee referrals also had been decreased. For example, if any bill need to be passed in house, so there will be the process, first reading, second reading, third reading and fourth reading. So in between, they will be sending that bill to parliamentary committee for scrutiny. So nowadays, there is very less number of bills are referred to this parliamentary committees. So this is also one important thing. So if you compare with 15th Lok Sabha, there was 71% of the bills they had been referred to parliamentary committees. But by this 17th Lok Sabha, only 13% of bills they had been went for parliamentary committee scrutiny. So because of this, there is decreasing of parliamentary supremacy. And you know about this anti-defection law? So because of this anti-defection law, that is 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act, so there is disqualification of members of political parties. And even who has the power to decide that? Speaker. Obviously, he will be coming from ruling party. And even you know about this whip, right? So whip is a person who will be directing the other political party, same political party members, like whether to vote yes or no. So obviously if they are not voting according to the whip, they will be also removed. Okay, so again there is impact of cabinet system on that. And even there is highly control over parliamentary business by this cabinet system. Because of this, the passing of bills, even limiting the debates and speaker's role, everything will be having impact in this cabinet system. And one more thing is this cabinet is headed by prime minister. So prime minister whims and fancies will be seen. For example, demonetization happened and implementation of GST. Okay, so those are the things that you can add as examples. Clear? No doubt, right? Shall we move on online, guys? Prisoners are also more in jail. Jail is nominal. Okay. So here, what are the reforms that we can do? Like you can give the way forward, right? So what are the reforms? So we have to strengthen parliamentary committees because parliamentary committee scrutiny is decreasing day by day. So we have to increase the scrutiny of these parliamentary committees. And actually there are recommendations which are saying that we have to increase the number of sittings because number of sittings are decreasing day by day. And next one is even second ARC committee also recommended that we have to promote culture criticism. Like we need to have effective debates and discussions while passing the bill. Okay, so we should not bypass. And see this question. See this question. The duty of Comptroller and Auditor General is not merely to ensure legality of expenditure, but also its proprietary comment. So recently PAC is in news, Public Accounts Committee. In that case, in our current affairs class, I said about importance of CAG. Yes or no? I said to refer some facts regarding CAG. And there also I gave explanation regarding CAG. The question appeared. So how can you write? So tell me first, what is the keyword? Obviously CAG, Comptroller Auditor General. So how can you write introduction? Is it a constitutional body? Yes, right? So you can write articles. So which is the article deals with this CAG in our constitution? So Comptroller Auditor General, which comes under Article 148, it is a constitutional authority. So what is the function of CAG? Why CAG is called as friend and philosopher of Public Accounts Committee? Uh, okay, so important work is auditing the accounts of both union government and state governments. And this CAG is also a guardian of public finances and it plays a very important role in ensuring transparency, accountability and financial proprietary in government funding. So now I want to let you know the difference between legality and proprietary. Okay, so if you read this question once again, it is saying that the duty of CAG is not merely to ensure legality but also proprietary. So when can you write an answer? If you know the difference between what is legality and what is proprietary. So tell me the difference between legality and proprietary now. Legal means legality. Okay, okay, I will give you one more example because I want to get answer from you guys. I'll give you some hint. Okay, for example, government is giving, for example, 100 crore rupees for Ayushman Bharat. Okay, let us take the recent example. So what happened in this Ayushman Bharat scheme? 70 plus years are getting compulsory health insurance. Yes or no? So here the money is given by the government to implement this scheme. For example, 100 crore rupees. So what is legality and what is proprietary regarding this scheme? So if money government is providing for so and so scheme, here the responsibility of CAG is to audit. Yes or no? Is that clear? So now tell me in this scheme what is legality and what is proprietary. If you know this, then only you can write answer for this question. So because of this is little bit tricky. Yes, spending 100 crores or not, is it legal or proprietary? Legal. So what is this proprietary then? So whenever government is giving 100 crore rupees for this so and so scheme, it is the responsibility of CAG, that is legal, to audit like how much amount it is spending and for what it is spending, everything it will be checking. That is legality. What is proprietary then? Whether is that scheme really important? Clear? No? Is that scheme really important or not? So these questions comes under proprietary. So now answer the question. So now the duty of CAG is not only to ensure legality but proprietary. You have to comment on this. Will you say, what will you say? It's true? Then how can you say that it's true? How can you say that it is true? Are you getting my question? It is a duty of CAG. So where it is written, like you have to do proprietary duty also? Where it has been written? In Constitution? Show me. Tell me. So how can you comment this? Okay. So legality you can write. I know you will be doing justice for legality. What about this proprietary, guys? Huh? Online guys, please tell me fast. Online students, have you got my question? I am asking about what is the proprietary of CAG. You have to think because you are going to be the future civil servants. Okay, so let me explain this. So first you have to know about what is this legality versus proprietary. Legality refers to whether the government is spending as per the rules and regulations or not. Okay, as per the established law or as per the budgetary provisions or not. But proprietary is whether it is appropriate, whether it is fair, whether it is showing integrity on this expenditure or not, whether they are wasting public funds. So this is about proprietary. I hope you understand what is the difference between legality and proprietary. So actually here CAG is ensuring even proprietary of expenditure. So even it is checking whether there are irregularities or not. For example, 2G scam. So we discussed about corruption in India essay. There I gave you lots of case studies. Can you tell me some examples of case studies? Yeah, 2G scam and even Commonwealth scam. So those had been came out because of this CAG. And next one is they are also raising issues of transparency, like how you are saying that you have spent for that. And next one is they're also identifying proper beneficiaries. Even recently in this Ayushman Bharat Jan Arogya Yojana, PM Jan Arogya Yojana, in this scheme also we found lots of corruption and as well as illegality. So this came out because of this because of this identification of beneficiaries. So actually many hospitals they claimed money without providing services, healthcare service or operations to the patients. So this had been identified this by this CAD. So you can write recent examples. Okay, and actually one important challenge regarding this CAG legality and proprietary is actually if you see like legality, we can ask like on what base, that means rule based or law based, but this proprietary is always value based, integrity based, ethics based, so there is no evidence. And this one here is there may be a risk of overreach. So what is the function of CAG? To audit. And if you going into this proprietary, it will leads to governance problem. So there is a blur between the line between actually what is legality and what is proprietary in our Indian governance system. Clear? So these are the points that you are supposed to write in the body with examples. Understand? Any doubt? Online guys? No, right? Shall I move on? Okay, say this question. Analyze role of local bodies in providing good governance at local level and bring out pros and cons of merging rural local bodies with urban local bodies. So I will give you 2 minutes of time. Read this question once again. It is somewhat tricky. And I want to get answers from you guys. You have that capability. Online guys, please read the question. Everyone. So what is the keyword? Okay, local bodies. And how many sub questions are there? How many? What first one? You have to analyze the what is the role of local bodies, and second one is pros, and third one is cons. That's it, right? Okay. So what can you write in introduction? Local bodies. Which act? Which act? Yes, you're right. 73rd and 74th Constitutional Act of 1992 gave the constitutional provision, constitutional status for this local bodies, and even we have articles. Article 243G to Article 243W. Okay, you can see articles of both panchayats and both urban, that is municipalities, and you can write those in introduction. It is clear with introduction, right? So now my question is, what is the role of local bodies in good governance? Why we need these local bodies? What is the need? Mhm. That word is called as decentralization, right? Decentralization of power. Next, grassroots democracy. Yes. Next, grassroots democracy. Next, come on. What are the advantages of local self bodies? Why we came up with that? Okay, I want specific because it is just 10-marker question. You have to address 3 parts. Okay, so tell me what are the advantages of local self bodies? Local self bodies, examples panchayats and municipalities. So what are the advantages of panchayats and municipalities? Can you tell me some schemes of rural areas which will be Manrega? Yes. Next, that means providing proper livelihood. Swachh Bharat. Next, Gram Sadak Yojana. Next, okay, rural development. Okay, so okay. Okay, okay. Yes, collecting taxes, but they have very limited powers of collecting of taxes. That is one challenge they are facing. So see, decentralization of power for effective service delivery. In the services, you can write about MG Narega, you can write about Gram Sadak Yojana, you can write about primary health services, Sarva Siksha Abhiyan. So what are the services you can write? And even you can write about Jal Jeevan Mission, which will provide water, and even water, sanitation and hygiene. Okay, so what are the schemes you can remember, you can write. And without this local bodies, can we ensure community participation? No. So for effective community participation and for democratic participation and accountability, and these, and because of this local government governance, so now people, they can decide like which works they can do regarding what are the funds you are getting. For example, a role of Gram Sabha. Okay, so you can take that, and you can talk about how money is managing. So every people of Gram Sabha, they will be coming and gathering, and they'll discuss about their problems and which problem to be addressed and which problem should we get how much amount of money, so that we'll be having efficient resource management and as well as fiscal management. Clear about the functions? So try to write very concisely, because there is word limit and you have to address 3 questions, and this paper is very lengthy. And here the second part is pros, and the third part is cons of merging rural bodies and local bodies. Oh, sorry, rural and urban. So rural means panchayats, urban is municipalities. So now there is a question of merging of this rural and urban bodies, which had recently the some resistance which happened in state of Tamil Nadu. Okay, now tell me what happens if you are merging this panchayats and municipalities. What will be the advantages? Yes, the problems are different. So that can, you can add in cons like challenges. I'm asking first advantages. Are there any advantage? Okay, more resources. Next. So even they will be getting urban like technology in rural areas. Next. Come on, think. You can do it. First one is we can streamline the governance process. Okay, we'll be having a same governance process in rural areas and urban areas, and we will be having integrated development. So both rural and urban areas will come into one account, and there will be integral development, and even there will be proper sharing of resources between these rural and urban areas, and even there is enhanced presentation of this rural people in urban management also. And next one is there is reducing of administrative cost, and even there will be increasing of efficiency of administration. And actually one important problem is we can address this rural urban migration. So yesterday paper there are 2 questions regarding migration, so we can address about this rural urban migration if you are mixing those. But tell me what are the cons, like what are the disadvantages? Okay, okay, yeah, I will accept. Okay, taxes. Mm. Uh, if they are getting votes, then what happens? Uh, okay, changing of voter choice. Okay, that's the thing that you're saying, right? Voter choice will be changed whenever we are combining both. Okay. So cons will be there is loss of local identity. So whoever the local leaders like Pancha, Sarpanch like that, they will be losing their identity, of course. There is loss of pride and status in their local areas. And next one is, so who will be taking more resources? Obviously urban areas. That is the one important problem. And the governance structure will be becoming much more complex when we unite those two. And even earlier, whatever that you said, right, tax different. So in urban areas, tax is more competitive of rural areas. If you are mixing them, so now rural areas also need to pay tax as per with urban areas. So there is increasing of tax for rural areas. And even employment issue cannot be properly addressed because MG Narraga is specifically given only for rural areas. If they are merging means they may not get this scheme. And next one is local administrative approachability will be getting disturbed because now centralization of power will be happening. So whenever we are mixing these two, rural and urban, so obviously power is present with these urban areas. So there will be again centralization of power will happen. And village leaders, they often see merger. Whenever we are combining both, then that will leads to loss of political power, status, pride. Can you add any more points here? Is that enough? With examples? Okay, now can you write with general knowledge? Can you answer this question? Yes, right? There is no need of reading heavy books, right? Okay, say this question. Yes, of course, you can write that also, but give last priority. Okay, say this question, guys. Very interesting. Public charitable trust, they have potential to make India's development more inclusive as they relate to certain vital public issues. Comment. So do you know about this charitable trust? Any examples that you can see in news? Charitable trust? Huh? Trust. Public charitable trust. Public is government. TTD. Next. No idea. Okay. So at least have you heard this word charitable trust anywhere? Red Cross, like that we will be having some trust. Okay. So public charitable trust have potential to make India's development more inclusive. Yes or no? So what is the meaning of inclusive? Everyone should be included in the process of development. That is called as inclusive, right? So how this public charitable trust will make India's development inclusive? Especially in some public issues. What are the issues we are having? Education, unemployment, health, skills. Okay, have you understand the demand of question now? So how can you write introduction? Public charitable trust. So public charitable trust, your organization, they will be addressing social issues and how they will be mobilizing the resources to fund activities related to healthcare, poverty, social justice and others. And they are guided under Indian Trust Act of 1882 and they are non-profit organizations. Obviously, they are working for larger public good. Okay, now tell me some examples of public charitable trust in education. ACER report released by ACER report Pratham. Pratham is NGO and even Ajim Premji University report will be there every year in news. You can add that. And for example, Seva, empowerment, regarding empowerment. It created around empowerment for 1.5 million women by microfinancing and improving of vocational training. For example, health. I am asking about just charitable trust. So in health, do you know any charitable trust? Yes or no? So in healthcare access, there are number of charitable trusts which are providing vaccines, which are providing essential medicines and even camps in some villages. And next one is regarding education skill development. I said about Ajim Premji University report and as well as Pratham. And next one is for women empowerment. We have Seva campaign. And next one is for disaster relief and rehabilitation. Recently during this COVID-19 pandemic and recently regarding this Kerala floods, we had one public organization which took a lot of care with that. I didn't get that name now. So I will be sharing that name in the group. Okay, and even there are many organizations which are providing support to the poor. So there are many charitable trusts, they have this old age homes. You can write examples of those. Clear now? But even though there are some challenges which are faced by this public charitable trust. So they don't know like where they are getting funds. There is lack of accountability and transparency. And even mostly they are present in urban areas but not in rural areas. And next one is there is lack of accountability, transparency. And next one is why people are getting with this trust, because there is no need of paying tax exemption. Okay, so these are challenges. Clear? Can you write now? Huh? It is guided under Act, Indian Trust Act of 1882. So it is under control of government only. They are public. Yeah, separate owners will be there, but they will comes under Act. No. Trust means you will be spending money for public good. You will be not getting any income. So if you are offering any scheme regarding health, will you get income? If you are organizing any camp, will you charge money for the people? No. Hmm. They are exempted from tax. They should not pay any tax. No. So even there are some. If you see the tax structure, we have direct and indirect tax. So direct will be having on private thing, but not on government, right? So even agriculture is also exempted from tax. Okay, actually these charitable trusts, they will be getting from funds from other areas. Like they will be getting either CSR funds, or they will be getting funds from foreign countries like NRIs. So they're getting money. That means they have to pay the tax, no? But even though they are getting money from other sources, they are not paying tax for the government because they are doing charitable things. Okay, did you get? So see this question. Poverty and malnutrition create a vicious cycle, adversely affecting human capital formation. What steps can be taken to break the cycle? So what is the keyword, guys? Poverty and malnutrition. How many questions are there? Online students? How many questions? Old age homes, orphan homes? Yes, you can write also if it comes under a public trust. Red Cross, Lions Club, okay. Come on, tell me how many questions? Two or four? So tell me what is the first question? Huh? Poverty and malnutrition create a visual cycle. It is just a statement, it is not a question. So the question starts from here. How it is affecting human capital. And second one is you have to give some steps so that how we can break this cycle. Clear? So tell me what is the relationship between poverty, malnutrition on human capital? What happens if you are having poverty and malnutrition? Uh, Decreased. Next. So what can you write in the body of the first question? Directly you can draw that vicious cycle. What is that cycle is about? So introduction you can write about data. It is talking about poverty and malnutrition. So which report is talking about that data? National Family Health Survey is saying that 35 to 35.5% of children under 5 years of age, they are stunted, and 32.1 are underweight. You can write this data and you will be collecting this data if you're following current affairs. So see this cycle. You have to write this kind of cycles in your paper. Poverty or malnutrition. What happens? So because of poverty, as you said, purchasing power parity, PPP will be getting decreased. So what happened? You will be taking very low intake of nutritious food. Then nutrition related disease you will be getting, and you will be susceptible to more infections. So because of this, wasting and stunting. Wasting is low weight to age, stunting is low height. And later on, unhealthy body, you will be getting it at an adult age. So obviously, there will be low productivity, low income, and again, it will lead to poverty. It is a visual cycle. And you have to draw this. This is the first sub question. Clear? And there is no need of explaining this also. Just keep the heading and draw this cycle. And what is second question? So how we can break this cycle? So what can be done? So here you can see like there are some problems. So how you have to break these problems? Tell me. So what are the schemes that you are having regarding poverty? How can we reduce poverty in India? Food security. So what are the schemes of food security? Even there is one more question regarding food security. Yesterday question food security, and today in GS3 also there is one question regarding food security. PDS system. Next, National Food Security Act of 2013, and we have PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Okay, so next step, what can you do here? Yes, midday meals program in your schools. Next, Garibi Hatao Yojana, so that we can address this poverty. Yes, very good. Next, come on, by seeing this cycle, you can do something. Regarding nutritional food, we have Anganwadis. Okay, so they are providing some services for children and as well as pregnant and lactating women. So can you tell me one example, PM portion? Yes, next. Come on, next. Okay, how can you give goods for affordable prices? So rather than that, you can increase employment opportunities. So what are the employment related schemes? Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, MG Narega, boosting of MSMEs. Yes. Okay, next, what can you do? Okay. So how can we increase savings? One new point from our student. So poor people, if they're getting 1,000 rupees, so they will be depending on that 1,000 rupees. They will not focus on savings. So how can we increase savings? Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. So by using of that accounts, they can save the money. And whatever the schemes government is providing, so they can come up with direct benefit transfer. Next. Okay, so there should be a shift from primary sector to secondary sector. Next. Next, come on, tell me. Okay, so we can improve sustainable livelihoods of people, and even we can improve healthcare access. How we can improve healthcare access? We have Ayushman Bharat. Next, we can improve primary health services in our country. And next one is even government can come up with the new schemes, and community participation is very important. Actually, people, they need to know about proper education regarding how they have to maintain their health. WASH program. And next one is employment generation, and financial inclusion. So with these steps, can we break that cycle? Yes. I didn't get you. Pocket, out of pocket expenditure. Okay. Yeah, that comes under here healthcare access. So if you are offering government healthcare, then we can decrease that out of pocket expenditure, of course. That's what. So we have to promote allied activities like fishing, rearing of cattle, goats, sheep. So that will be also generating income for farmers. Okay, in the lean seasons. It's very good point. Okay, see this question. The doctrine of democratic governance makes it necessary that the public perception of the integrity and commitment of civil servants become absolutely positive. Discuss. So take 2 to 3 minutes of time and read this question clearly. So it is regarding civil servant, that is the future, my students. Tell me. See this question. Online guys, any doubts? How much poverty is reduced through the government schemes and how to know that is it succeeded? So just see the reports of that so and so ministry. Every year, for example, if the scheme is implemented by Ministry of Panchayat Raj, the Panchayat Raj Ministry will be releasing the report regarding the schemes and their outcomes. So there you will be getting Gopi Chand. Very good. National Rural Livelihood Missions. Okay, Gausilal. Very good. Okay, tell me. So what is this question? What is the demand of the question? Who are going to be the corrupt officers here in future? 1, 2. If someone see, they will scold me like, why you are giving coaching for those corrupt future IAS officers. Okay, say this question. So what is the keyword? The keyword is doctrine of democratic governance. So if you know the meaning of that doctrine of democratic governance, then you can easily write this answer. So doctrine of democratic governance is nothing but it is a fundamental principle that every civil servant needs to be have. So that is accountability, transparency, responsiveness in public administration. So this is very important because if you are having that, then only you can maintain trust between you and your people because you will be working at the ground level, right? So if people needs to believe you, you need to have this. Okay, now tell me how this doctrine of democratic governance will be always positive. Why? Actually, it is a question which is combination of governance and ethics. Okay, so how this doctrine of governance, democratic governance will be helpful for implementation of policies? Have you got my question? What is the demand of question? Tell me now, what is the answer for the question? So how it is a positive? Uh? Uh? Okay, next. So how it is important? Ethics. If you complete ethics, you will be answering. Okay. So in the body, you can write about importance of integrity and commitment. So whenever people knows that you are integral officer, you have integrity and you are maintaining accountability and transparency, obviously trust in governance will be increased. So if you're accountable and if you are responsive and if you are maintaining empathy and integrity, obviously what are the schemes you are there, so you will be implementing those so that there will be effective service delivery. And if you are accountable, then you will be not taking any corruption. So there will be reduction of corruption. And this one will be what happens if you want to implement anything, people will be directly accepting your words. There is no need of implementing force on them. So there will be enhanced even policy acceptance by the people. So this is the importance of this doctrine. Okay. So now here they are asking about what are the strategies that you have to foster for positive perception. That means, so these are the things that you need to have so that people will be accepting and so that you can implement this, whatever the policies are there easily, so that you will be having positive impact on the governance making. Okay, so for this we need proper transparency. You have to show the people that yes, you are accountable, yes, you are transparent. And this one is you need to engage with the public regularly, and you need to have even ethical training because you should not take any corruption in the future, and you need to have the education regarding how the people will be before posting into that area. And this one is even you have to follow accountability and transparency, they are like rhyming words, you can use anywhere. And this one is recognition and reward system. So here whenever any officer who is taking corrupted, or or if he is doing anything wrong, he should be punished, or if he is doing good, he should be rewarded, so that people will be knowing about what is the nature of that civil servant, so that we can implement this doctrine, so that there will be totally positiveness that you can see in your surroundings and in public service delivery system. Clear? Is this a general question or like governance related, or you need to read bundles of books? Not like that, right? Okay. So see this question. The West is fostering India. So if you're not answering this question, I'll break your heads, guys. So listen carefully. So the West is fostering India as an alternative to reduce dependence on China's supply chain and as a strategic ally to counter China's political and economic dominance. Explain this statement with examples. So read this question, please. Everyone, online guys, even you have to answer this question. Very good, both ethical and legal training. So what is this concept is talking about? Many countries, they are coming out of China. It is called as China plus one policy. So this question is related to this China plus one policy. They didn't directly use this word, but they said that other Western countries, they want to reduce dependence on China's supply chain and strategic ally to counter China's political and economic dominance. China's plus one policy. Can you tell me some examples regarding this China plus one policy? So which is that country plus one? Obviously India. Yes or no? So tell me why these Western countries, they want to look at India. What are the advantages they are having in India? Huh? Demographic dividend, very good. Okay, soft power of India. Okay, next. Yes, cheap labor force. Next. Vairunam. Okay, subsidies. Okay, next. Okay, FT. Okay, free trade agreements with different countries. Next. Okay, so we are doing trade with different countries. Okay. So in introduction, what can you write? In the past decades, China has emerged as a global manufacturing hub. Everyone knows that. But nowadays, Western countries, they want to move out of this China. So they are looking for China plus one. So in this one is nothing but India. So I told number of times in our current affairs class, right? So every country is looking towards India. Why? You have to know the causes. So that is the thing which came in the question paper. Okay, see why Western countries are trying to reduce dependence on China here is, so they are acting as hegemonic rivalry. Like for example, in technology, they're advanced now compared to that of other countries even. They're having 5G technology. They're having good nuclear missiles, yes? And even they're also having some national security concerns, like if every country is completely dependent on this China, if it is stopping exports, then what is the future of that country, which is dependent on the imports of China? And even there are lots of human rights violation which is happening in China. For example, Uyghur Muslims, right? And next one is salami slicing strategy. So even they want to increase its military bases, and it is having aggressive expansionist policy in both land and as well as in water. For example, string of pearls concept. So because of all these things, now Western countries, they want to diversify their supply chains from China. Okay, and if you see, India is having a potential to occupy this vacuum. So it is called as China plus one policy. Why? Because we are also growing our manufacturing capacity slowly, and even we are having demographic advantage, as you said, and we are having some subsidies or intensifying schemes from the government, and even we are also having some geopolitical alliances with different countries, that is called as soft power, and we are also the part of different international organizations. You can write some examples like what? Indo-Pacific Partnership, Asian, so not Asian, so like that. And this one is even we are having defense partnership and military cooperation with maximum countries, so that we can ensure security of even country which is investing in our country, right? So these are the advantages why India becomes a choice of China plus one policy. Clear? Can you write? Is there any doubt in this? Online guys? See this question. So this is the last 10 marker question. Critically analyze India's evolving diplomatic, economic and strategic relations with Central Asian republics. You have to answer this question also. It is in current affairs. Highlighting their increasing significance in regional and global geopolitics. So tell me, what is the keyword? Central Asian republics. Can you tell me some countries which are part of this? Central Asian countries. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan. Next. Huh? Azerbaijan, okay. So these are the part of Central Asian countries. So tell me about what are the diplomatic, next one is economic, and third one is strategic relations with these countries. Yes, very good. Afghanistan next. Come on, you can do it. You have that capability. So tell me about diplomatic. So recently, anyone visited these countries? So if you follow news and if you revise that, then you will be getting, obviously. So can you tell me any economic relations? Different pipelines at least. Any pipeline? Yes. Kazakhstan, tell me. Middle East countries, tell me. Tapi, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India pipeline, gas pipeline. Next, North-South International Corridor. That's what. Tell me. Tell me. Do you get? What are the strategic relations? Any military cooperation with India and these Middle East countries, Middle countries, Central Asian countries, anything? Kazakhstan, Kazakh recently in news. Yes. Next. Come on, tell me. Okay, let me explain. So first, if you see the diplomatic relations, India hosted first ever India Central Asian Summit in January 2022. So it is the first ever summit between India and its Central Asian countries. And this one is we came up with even Central Asian policy which had been launched in 2012. And even in this SCO, there are many countries of the Central Asian, they are part of this SC1. We are going to have this summit soon. Right? So in this way, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So in this Central Asian countries are part. Right? So this is the one diplomatic relations with those countries. And if you see economy, we came up with lots and lots of infrastructure development projects in the Central Asia. For example, TAPI and even Zarang Dalaram Road in Afghanistan. Yes? And next one is we are also having good strategic relations. Actually, we are fighting for Afghanistan stability, and especially we are fighting against terrorism in this region. And even with Kazakhstan, we had this military cooperation or military exercise that is called as Kazkin. And this one is we are also taking part in this countering of terrorism and as well as extremism in this region. As I said, North-South Transport Corridor. And obviously, you have to write this point to counter BRI or China's influence in every IR related thing. So, can you write this answer? Is that anything new I taught from current affairs? Then why are you not giving answers? That's what, revision is important. Okay, so see this question. From now onwards, 15 marker questions had been started. So see this. What are the aims? Second one is objectives of recently passed and enforced Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. Next one is whether university state education board examination too are covered under this act or not. So tell me, can you guess why this question is in paper? Public examination unfair need paper. So because of this need paper, this is in news. So now tell me, even if you don't know anything about this act, so you know that paper leak has happened. That means what are the aims and objectives of this act? At least guess something. What might be the aims and objectives? This type of questions you can see, at least 2 to 3 questions that will be tricky. But who will become success is the person who will write something. Okay, should not leave the answer at all. So if it is something related, try to write and come, because something is better than nothing. Even if you are getting 1 or 2 marks, then your rank will go there. Okay. So if you are getting this kind of question but you don't know, then how can you manage in your examination hall? You can write why it is in news relevance, right? Yes. Next, what are the aims? What will be the commonly aims of any act? Yes, to increase transparency, accountability, wherever you can write, you can write that point. Next. Tell me how examination, copies, everything will happen. Mass technology. Next. Yes, corruption is also one of the reason. Okay. So what might be the aims of this act? Even if you don't know that also, with basic common sense, tell me. Then what to do? Okay, then what should I do? There is no link with that. So I'm asking about what are the aims and objectives. Okay, so in introduction, you can write about what is this act is about. So Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act of 2024, passed by Indian Parliament in February 2024. Aim is to curb cheating and as well as malpractices in public examination, so that we can promote fairness and as well as merit, right? So now at least can you tell some aims and objectives? To ensure merit. Next, to curb cheating and malpractices. At least can you write 2 to 3 points or not? Okay. So first one is to prevent unfair means in the examinations and to promote integrity in the public examinations and to ensure equal opportunities for the students and to give punishment if they are doing something wrong. And this one is to regulate exam related activities. So these are the aims and objectives. With common sense, at least you can write 3 to 4 like punishments. I thought you will be giving answers like punishments. Yeah? Mm. So this act passed in 2024 recently. Okay. So see whether which are the things applicable under this. So the question itself is asking that whether university is included or whether the state education board is included or not. So here under this law, actually it is applicable to university, is applicable to school education board, and everything will be included. Okay, so that thing that you can write, and I gave the information here. So see this second question, that is second 15 marker question. So read out the question, online students, so please. Right to privacy is intrinsic into life. If you don't answer this, okay, let me show. So right to privacy is intrinsic to life and personal liberty, and it is inherently protected under Article 21 of the Constitution. So this is a statement. And now the question is, explain in this reference, discuss the law relating to DNA testing of child in the womb to establish its paternity. So it is talking about right to privacy of fetus. Okay, how can you write introduction? Right to privacy. So there you have to include Article 21 and KS Puttaswamy judgment. See here, right to privacy is a fundamental aspect of life and personal liberty, which is protected under Article 21 of Indian Constitution, which is said by Supreme Court in landmark judgment of KS Puttaswamy versus Union of India 2017. And in this judgment, Supreme Court said that right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21. Okay. So here it is asking about DNA testing and right to privacy. So which are the laws present in our country which says that we can do DNA test to see the paternity. That means who is the father of the baby. Okay, so we have first one is PNDT, that is prenatal diagnostic techniques. That means within baby which is inside the womb itself, so we will be extracting the DNA of baby and we can see who is the father of that so and so baby. Okay, so this is the one act. And this one is, even we have Family Courts Act of 1984, which says that if there is any dispute regarding paternity, family courts may order for DNA test to ascertain biological relationship between the baby and as well as father. And we have DNA technology use and applications rules bill 2019, which also says that yes, if there is any dispute between who is the father of that so and so baby, then we can use this DNA. Okay, so these are the things. So do you know any case regarding this paternity in news? Who is the father? So one famous film actor case is also there in recent news. No idea. Okay. So see this next question. What changes has the union government recently introduced in the domain of center-state relations? Suggest measures to be adopted to build trust between center and states for strengthening of federalism. So whenever you're talking about relationship between center and state, it is called as federalism, right? So here you have to know about what are the recent changes done by union government in this center-state relations, and you have to suggest some measures. So economy is going on, right? Yes. Yes, GST, very good. Next. Yes, finance commission, very good. Come on, you can do it. Okay, very good. Next. GST and tax, next. One nation, one election. Okay, very good. Next. Niti Ayog. Earlier we had planning commission, now we have Niti Ayog. Next. Any more examples? Online guys, any more examples? GST, Niti Ayog, very good. Simultaneous elections, very good. Kavya. Niti Ayog, very good. Bharat. GST Council, okay, Bharat. GST Council, Niti Ayog, simultaneous elections. Next. No, there will be delay like 10 to 15 seconds. What I am saying here, they will be getting later on. Next. So actually introduction you can write about. Recently Union Government of India introduced several changes which are aimed at refining center-state relations so that they are focusing on greater centralization, and regarding distribution of powers and resources there is increasing of concentration of center. So even there are some recent Supreme Court judgments which gave powers to states. So what are those judgments? Yes, mines. Very good. Next. Yes, subclassification. Very good. Come on. Come on, come on. Only two? Okay. So here see what are the key developments. There is increased financial control of states. So even nowadays, some states which had disasters, they are asking to release the funds. Which are those states? And states are saying to decide those disasters as national disasters. Yes or no? Can you add that point which is in news? And next one is even there is increasing of centrally sponsored schemes in states. So because of increasing of central sponsored schemes, there is increasing of centers interference in the states. Yes, and even legislative changes like for example GST. And next one here is coordination with the states. Like even earlier we used to have planning commission, now we have Niti Aayog. So can you write this with examples now? Yes? Okay. Next one is what are the measures need to be taken to build this federalism? So we can enhance this cooperative federalism. So states and center, they need to cooperate each other so that we can enhance this cooperative federalism. And even we can give more power, physical empowerment for the states. And this one is we have to go for decentralization of power rather than centralization of power. And we have to maintain proper communication between states and as well as center. And next one is we need to have proper conflict resolution mechanisms. So if there are any issues between center and states, so nowadays especially non-BJP ruling states are having many issues, right? So to solve those issues we need proper dispute resolution mechanisms, and you can write those examples also here. And next one is regulation of state diversity. Actually, whenever government is providing any scheme, so it need to be taken into consideration like what is the diversity of state, whether there is a high population of tribals or not, whether there is a high resources or not, less resources or not. So some states are developed state, industrialized state, some are not. So based on the state diversity, they need to implement the scheme. So all schemes will not be equally should be implemented in all the states. So we have to take into account of this diversity as well. Then we can enhance trust and we can strengthen federalism between center and as well as states. Clear? Yes, control the discretion power of governor. Okay, you can write here in conflict resolution mechanism. Okay, clear? Any doubts? No, right? So say this question, explain the reasons for the growth of public interest litigation, that is called as PILs in India. As result of it, has Indian Supreme Court emerged as a world's most powerful judiciary or not? So do you know about this? What is this PIL? What is this PIL? Public litigation. Public interest litigation. Okay. So tell me, what is this public interest litigation? Okay, yeah. So if large group of people you are facing problem, directly you can take the problem to Supreme Court. You can file PIL, right? So whether it is present in our constitution, PIL? Tell me, yes or no? Okay. So PIL, it is refers to legal action which is initiated by a court to safeguard public interest based on some issues. What are those issues? Pollution, terrorism, road safety, construction, hazards, etc., which are affecting broader public. So the problem of this public interest litigation is it had became like private interest litigation. Okay. So if time permits, I will be dealing with that in our current affairs classes, or else your polity sir will be discussing that. How this public interest litigation had been misused so that it became private interest litigation. Okay. So you can write about what is this public interest litigation introduction. So tell me why there is increasing of PILs in India. What are the reasons? So first one is judicial activism. That means judiciary is taking lot of suo motu cases. So because of this, PIL is increasing, and because of this PIL, that led to Vishaka guidelines. What is this Vishaka guidelines? Safety measures to be followed at workplace, especially for women's safety. And next one is because of this PILs, there is increasing of access to justice. Yes or no? So now many people they can approach this Supreme Court to get justice. And next one is even because of social movements and because of that there is increasing of awareness about this PIL, so that the number of PILs are increasing day by day. And next one is even media influence. So you know about social media influencers. So they are giving the reels or anything regarding the use of PILs. And even because of legislative framework and because of expanding interpretation of fundamental rights. So can you tell me some recent cases of expansion of fundamental rights? Right to privacy. Next. Okay. Correct. Next. Right to play outside is fundamental right of children. Right to sleep is a fundamental right. Right to listen. Okay, right to disconnect. It is in Australia, not in India. Okay, and next one is right against climate change is also a fundamental right. So, because of increasing of interpretation of fundamental rights, also more and more number of cases are filing as PILs in Supreme Court. So now tell me, I want to get answer from you guys, whether Indian Supreme Court is becoming most powerful judiciary in world. Yes or no? How? Whether Indian judiciary is the most powerful judiciary in world? Online guys? No or yes? Why no and why yes? Who are saying yes? Okay, say me why yes? Bharat is saying yes. Why yes? Yes, candidates. Yes, it is stopping arbitrary actions of government. Okay, next. Why no? No, guys. Raise your hands. Then why no? I am talking about PILs, not in the general cases. Regarding PILs. Ah. Okay. Okay, next. Next. Lack of judges, vacancy. Okay, next. Okay, actually, there is increasing of PILs in India, which is happening because of all these reasons I said, right? So, if you see Indian Supreme Court as a world's most powerful judiciary, because we have this concept of judicial review and independence of judiciary. So, daily I am talking about this independence of judiciary, autonomy of judiciary, right? So, judicial review, because in this Keshwananda Bharati case, here Supreme Court came up with this concept of basic structure doctrine. So whatever the judgment it is given in earlier cases that had been reviewed. So because of this concept of judicial review in Indian judiciary, Supreme Court became the powerful judiciary. And even we are using innovative use of PILs, for example, to provide proper justice for the people, for the larger good, and as well as for human rights violation in the country, etc. And even there is expansive interpretation of rights. For example, Navtej Singh Johar case, where Supreme Court strike down the section 377. Yes, and even you can see like how this article 21 is elaborating day by day. You can give the examples that I gave. And next one is checks on executive and legislative power, that you said arbitrary power of government can be controlled by these checks and balances. For example, Minerva Mills case. And next one is interventions in the governance. So in this, whatever the government is coming up with any laws, so which is said by government that which is either according to our constitution or not. If it is according to constitution, so okay. If it is not, that can be declared as null and void. So that had been done under this T.N. Godavarman versus in Union of India case. So in this case, it said about environment. Okay. So in this way, you have to see, and whenever you are writing any polity related answer, try to include proper substantiation, proper cases along with that explanation part. Okay. So see this question. Discuss India as a secular state and compare with secular principles of US Constitution. So actually in your governance there is one topic, that is comparing of Indian Constitution with other constitutions. So actually this question I gave for your mains answer writing, guys, for Sriraj. Same question, I think 3 days ago. Compare the secular state with India and US. Same question. So tell me, what is the difference between secularism of India and US? Is there any difference? What is that? Yes, US we have negative secularism and in India we have positive secularism. Next. Next. At least 4 to 5 differences I'm expecting from you guys. What is the concept of secularism? What is the concept of secularism? India is also having our own constitution. Okay, US states. Okay. Okay, so what? Okay. Actually, if you see introduction, you can write about secularism or like what is the difference between India and US secularism. So India's secularism is rooted on the base of pluralism and coexistence, and US model is mainly focusing on strict separation of church from the state. Okay. So see here. So I am showing you the differences clearly. Church is nothing but which religion is there in US? What is the religious institution they will be going? They will be going to church, right? Secularism is related to religion. Okay. So what is the concept of religion in India and what is the concept of religion in US? So if you see here, in India we are giving equal respect to all religions. We are not having any discrimination, and even in our fundamental rights also, there is a concept that there should be no discrimination on religion, race, caste, gender, right? Okay. So here even state will be involved to manage some religious institutions whenever it is necessary. But in US there is very strict separation. So government should maintain a clear line between what is religion and what is public life there. And here in India we have positive secularism, that is we are allowing the state subsidies for even maintaining some religious sites. And you know about this issue recently in UP, closing of mutton shops, everything. Uh, so what is that yatra? What is that yatra? Kanwar yatra. So you can write that example. Okay. And next one is US is following negative secularism. No state financial aid will be given for any religious activity or any institution. And we have freedom of religion is a fundamental right. But they have freedom of religion, but individual freedom with minimal state intervention. So there is also state intervention here, but it is our personal laws or overriding. And even there are some special provisions we are giving to minorities in India. We are protecting minorities, religious communities through specific constitutional safeguards, but they are having uniform application. So equal treatment for citizens without favoring any religious group. So these are the differences between Indian secularism and US secularism. Clear? Clear? Yes. So for some, they will be funding. No, you know about this madrasas, right? Madrasas, they are getting funds from government. So why they are in news? They are not getting proper funds. So we have different types of education institutions, state funded, aided, like that. So you have to see which kind of that. It's not like there are actually that is the thing you have to remember. Fundamental rights are not absolute. There can be some reasonable restrictions can be implemented. There will be some exceptions. Okay. So see this question. The Citizens Charter being a landmark initiative in ensuring citizen-centric administration, but it is yet to reach its full potential. Identify factors hindering the realization of its promise and suggest measures to overcome. What is the keyword? Citizen charters. So what is a citizen charters? How many of you know about this concept? Tell me. So if you go to any government office, so there will be one display like what are services you are providing, so in how many days, and what happens if you are not doing them. So that is called a citizen charter. So if you go to any government office, do you find that? Unfortunately, yeah, that's what. Yes. So here this question is asking that they also know that citizen charters are not effectively implementing in our country. So here you have to identify what are the factors, the first one, and you have to see what are the measures. Do you understand the demand of the question? So how can you write introduction? You can write about what is a citizen charter. Citizen charter is a document which outlines the commitment of that organization along with its responsibilities of government towards citizens, and they will be also showing how they will be ensuring transparency, accountability and efficiency in public service. Okay. So you have to know even what is the important aim. Aim is to enhance service delivery system, and people need to know like if they're coming to any organization, what work they will be done, and within what is the time limit. So what if they are not doing the services in that time limit, what are the punishments, everything. Okay. So especially they want to make government officers accountable to the people so that there will be increasing of service delivery. So this is the aims and objectives of citizen charter that you can write in introduction. So now tell me what are the factors that are leading to this hindering the realizations of this citizen charter. What are the factors why this citizen charter is not effective? Do you know whether this kind of concept will be there in the government offices? No, right? That means lack of awareness. Next. So there is no updation of that citizen charters. Next. Okay, people are not showing interest to read. Okay, next. Come on, you can do it. It is a general question. Governance mostly with your general knowledge you can write. But you need to add some examples, case studies, data that you can gather from current affairs. Tell me. What are the challenges? First one is there is lack of public awareness. So institution itself, they are having a very weak framework. So if this citizen charter to be made, so each and every stakeholders who are working in that organization, they have to come together and they have to make. So institution is having a very weak framework. How these people will come and do that? And next one is it is not mandatory. If they are making mandatory, at least in each and every office we can see at least that citizen charter. So it is not mandatory in nature, and even bureaucrats are showing resistance to come with this, because if they are not following the guidelines there, they will be getting punishment. And next one is there is no proper resource, and there is lack of incentives, and there is no penalties also. If they are having at least penalties, they will be doing something. Okay, so these are the factors which are hindering its full potential. Clear? And next one is what are the measures we have to take? No awareness, we have to increase awareness. So we have to come up with proper legal backing. So we need to have proper oversight, that means audits and everything. And we need to improve capacity building, and we can focus on digitalization of services, and we can give some incentives and penalties. Same thing? Yes? If you know the factors, can you write measures? Yes, right? Is that simple or is it complicated? It is very simple, right? Okay, say this question. In a crucial public domain like public health system, I am expecting answer from you only. So it is talking about public healthcare system in Indian state should play a vital role to contain adverse impact of marketization of system. Suggest some measures through which state can enhance the reach of public healthcare at grassroots level. So what is the problem it is highlighted here? Marketization of public healthcare system. What is this marketization? There is increasing of private health centers. Okay, now tell me what is the demand of question? So I gave you a hint. This question is talking about privatization of healthcare systems. So what is the demand of question? Huh? So how government can increase its oversight on this private healthcare centers? And next one is it is also asking some measures. Okay, what can you write in introduction? You can write about data regarding private health sector in our country. Yes, or else you can write about simply what is this private healthcare centers or marketization of the public health services, how it is affecting. So tell me, what are the challenges of this marketization of public healthcare system? What will happen in our healthcare system? Yes, cost increases. What happens if cost increases? Affordability and accessibility decreases. Next. Come on, healthcare problems. Every day we will be reading in your current affairs, no? Come on, tell me. Okay, focus only in urban areas, not in rural areas. Next, their profit motive. And will they focus on preventive medicine? No, they will be always focusing on treatment of disease. Next, if they focus on preventive medicine, will they get profits? No, right? They want only profit, like they will be focusing on only treatment of diseases. Next, come on, it is a general question. Next, yes, misleading advertisements. Next, okay, see here. So what are the adverse impact of marketization of healthcare system? First one is inequity. So everyone will be having no proper access to the services. Only rich can afford, not poor. And next one is there is increasing of price, as you said. There is less affordable, and even they will be neglecting the healthcare, and even there is erosion of ethical standards. You can see in some areas there will be organs. Organs can be also purchased and sold. And next one is there is limited care on preventive health. Okay, so how states can take some measures to control this marketization of public health system? So first one is we have to regulate this private healthcare sector. Like we need to have proper oversight, proper auditing, etc. And we have to expand public healthcare infrastructure. So if you are expanding this public healthcare, so whether people will come towards private? No. So we have to create public health sector which should be world class with infrastructure. And next one is we have to strengthen whatever the national health programs are there so that we can increase accessibility and affordability of healthcare system. And even we have to provide some subsidies for essential healthcare system. For example, under Ayushman Bharat scheme, government is providing 5 lakhs of rupees. Yes or no? So these are the things that you can do. Can you add any more points, guys? So it is a general question, right? You have to answer this type of questions. Hmm. Hmm. So you have to always support public. Yes. So you in measures you can write like these are the problems faced by the government. So these are the steps can be taken to increase quality. You should be diplomatic. Okay. So online guys, any doubts? Ma'am, question demand is only measures, ma'am. Okay, measures and even you have to write about what are the challenges. Okay, Reshma. Yes, of course. Government people will be having more talent compared to the private, but lack of proper governance and the lack of proper auditing, so they are doing this. Okay. Yes. Yes, you can. Yeah. So what are the measures you can take? First one is we can increase finance, like at least 2.5% of GDP by 2025. And next one is we can focus on decentralization of management. We can increase infrastructure. We can increase even trained workforce in this public healthcare. And we can focus on using of digitalization or like telemedicine like services. And we can expand preventive care. And we can give proper health education to the people, awareness, and even whatever the national health mission we are having. So we can strengthen that so that we can address this problem of marketization of public healthcare sector. Ah, every life have some value, okay? Even it may be like 70 years old or 1 decade. The right to life and personal liberty is a fundamental right to everyone. Right to health is also comes under Article 21. It's a fundamental right. Don't talk this like this anyway. They will beat you. Who will give free treatment in private hospitals? Do you have any hospital? Okay, separate wards for 70 years people and just only give first aid, not treatment, right? So if there is any need of operation like heart surgery or kidney surgery, it will be more than 5 lakhs, no? I will give some recommendations to health department, okay? Or else I will be taken to your government. So you can talk with them, mediator. Okay, see this question. Terrorism has become a significant threat to global peace and security. Evaluate the effectiveness of United Nations Security Council Counterterrorism Committee and its associated bodies in addressing mitigating this threat at the international level. So what is the keyword? Read twice. And this is new for you guys, for foundation students. Come on, read this question. Online guys, edit out so far. Hmm. It is talking about terrorism. It is external threat, it is not internal threat. Okay, so the keyword here is United Nations Security Council Counter-Terrorism Committee. And not only it is asking about this, but even it is asking about some other bodies which are addressing this issue of terrorism. Can you tell me the second part of question? You might be knowing. So which are the bodies dealing with terrorism? Recently, 2 days ago, it is in the news. I think from last 3 days we are discussing that. Why FATF is in news? What is FATF? Financial Action Task Force. What are the functions of FATF? Terror funding and money laundering. So is that body, can you write in the second part? And earlier I said about Interpol. What is this Interpol? Can we write that here? Yes or no? Next. And rats. In SCO we have an organ called as rats. That will be also dealing with terrorism. So you have to write at least 3 to 4 examples in the second. So do you know about what is this United Nations Security Council Counter-Terrorism Committee? No idea, right? Okay, so terrorism has emerged as a major threat to global peace and security in the recent years. So actually, so this terrorism had been characterized by what will be there in terrorism? They will be showing violence and intimidation to achieve political, religious, ideological goals. And this phenomenon had been widely spread over across the world. So because of this, now it is an international concern. So we need some global bodies to address this issue. So if you see the effectiveness of this United Nations Security Council Counterterrorism Committee, so actually it is a global framework for counterterrorism, and it will be giving information regarding where the terrorism is happening and how this terror financing is happening, and even it will be having proper coordination, cooperation with the different countries, and even it will be monitoring, and it will be also checking whether countries are following the rules and regulations or not. And even if countries they need any infrastructure or any support, it is providing that. Okay, so because of this we can say this committee is effectively functioning. So second part is other bodies. As I said, you can write about FATF, and next one is Interpol, and you can write about rats also. And apart from that, you can write about United Nations Office of Counterterrorism and Task Force of United Nations Counterterrorism Committee. Okay, so these are the bodies which are dealing across the world regarding terrorism and terror related funding. And actually these bodies, they are having some limitations because they are not having proper coordination and there is no timely execution of sanctions, etc. So if these problems will be overcome, then we can address this terrorism, which is a global concern. So like that you can write your conclusion. So see this last question. I think you will be giving answer for this question again. I hope this. So read this question. Online guys, any doubts so far? CRPF, Principles of United Nations Peacekeeping Process, Terror Financing and Laundering Group. Okay, very good. Okay, read this question. Discuss the geopolitical and geostrategic importance of Maldives for India. Where is this Maldives located? Maldives is an example of which kind of islands? Huh? Okay, archipelago. Next. Where it is located? South of Lakshadweep means in Indian Ocean or not? Yes, right? Okay. So here the question is asking, first one is geopolitical and geostrategic importance of Maldives for India. First question, with focus on global trade and energy flows. So you have to write first part of your answer should be addressing geopolitical and geostrategic importance of Maldives to India from trade and energy point of view. And second one is you have to discuss how the relationship affects India's maritime security and regional stability amidst international competition. So have you understand why this Maldives is in paper? Because of boycott Maldives movement? Yes? Yes or no? So can you expect the questions like which are highly in use? There will be mains questions for sure. So how many questions are there in this GS paper 2 from current affairs? Almost right. So now do you realize the importance of current affairs? So how many of you are missing current affairs class every day? Raise your hands. Very good. I'm not asking about answers. So who are missing this current affairs class every day? So try to attend them regularly, or else you will be in the out of race. And if you see the GS paper 3, 18 questions are from current affairs only. Only 2 are just static. Remaining all questions are current affairs only. You will be understanding and don't realize after writing examination. If I might attend those classes, I might be writing all those answers. So you should not get this realization after once exam is done. So try to focus, and whatever we are teaching here, which is according to the UPSC only. We are not teaching anything which is different, and whatever the thing that we are teaching in classes, obviously that will be useful either in your prelims or mains or any way. It will be not going waste at all. Okay, so understand my concerns and try to focus on the class and try to follow the schedule whatever we are giving and try to write the test on time. That will be very helpful, guys. No one will be taking that much care like what I'm doing here. And don't be influenced by any others. So you came here because of seeing my face, right? So whatever I'm saying, so try to follow blindly. So I'm taking a lot of efforts here for your sake, for your future. Okay, so see this. First one is about geopolitical and geostrategic importance of Maldives for India. And next one is you have to write about how the relationship is affecting India's maritime security and regional stability. So what can you write in introduction? So Maldives is our near neighborhood, right? So it is a part of our neighborhood first policy. And it is one of the important country in our Indian Ocean. So here there is increased prominence for Indian Ocean region, Indo-Pacific region, right? So here if we maintaining good relations with this Maldives, is it good or bad for India? It's good, right? So if you want to increase the presence of India in this Indo-Pacific region, obviously we need some help. And actually, do you know about these important choke points? Because the question is asking about global trade. So what is the Strait of Malacca, Babel Mandap? Do you have this any idea? I told about Strait of Malacca many times. At that time I gave you example, not example, I gave you homework to note down other important choke points in the world. If you might have it, then you will be getting an idea. So here, if you see the geopolitical and geostrategic importance of Maldives, so if you see the location of this Maldives, it is very important because it is very much near to these choke points. Those are Strait of Hormuz, Bab el Mandab, and as well as Strait of Malacca. So these are 3 important choke points which are controlling most of the trade in the world. Okay, and this location is very vital for these 3. And next one is proximity to India's southern coast. So actually it is very close to Lakshadweep and as well as Kerala. And even it is very important for maintaining of security in our Indian Ocean region. And next one is, if you see, the energy is flowing from the Middle East to Asia, and in this energy flow, like 60% of oil imports, they come from Middle East. So they will be transported through this route near Maldives. And even you know this problem about this maritime piracy, that is hijacking of ships. To counter this and to maintain security in the Indian Ocean region, we need help of this Maldives. And next one here is, even not only Indian interest but even Western countries' interest is increasing in this Maldives, like increasing of naval bases of other countries like US. Okay, so because of all these things, so this Maldives is very important for India. And see next one, what will be the impact of relations? So we are focusing on maritime security and we are focusing on regional stability. So actually, do you know this concept of EEZ, exclusive economic zone? It is still 200 nautical miles, right? So here if you see the location of Maldives, here we have, right? So here we have Lakshadweep. That means if you see exclusive economic zone of Maldives, it is covering near to our Lakshadweep. So if there is proper safety and security is maintaining in this EEZ of Maldives, obviously we can ensure safety in this region. Yes, so for this Maldives is very important. And next one is for countering of Chinese influence, we need the help of this Maldives, especially in this Indian Ocean region. And actually it is very important because the location is very near to the sea lanes of communication, commonly called as SLOCs. Okay, that is nothing but near this Babel Mandab and this Strait of Malacca, except Strait of Hormuz. And even for regional stability, we want proper naval and military cooperation, and even for maintaining of this Maldives sovereignty also, it needs the help of India. Okay, so in this way you can write at least some important points so that you can write about impact of Maldives relations, and even you can write about how China is influencing Maldives for changing of foreign policy of Maldives towards India. Okay, so these are the points that you can write. So how many of you felt that this paper is easy? Easy? So before explanation part, how many of you felt before explanation this paper is easy? Easy? Everything? Current affairs, if you follow current affairs, you can write. So what is the final conclusion that you got? You have to use common sense, and for sure there will be 2 to 3 some tricky questions will be there. Don't leave those questions and try to write something relevant. Okay, and next one is you have to use some common sense, and you have to use acts, data, especially schemes and policies of government to score better. Okay, try to give example for each and every substantiation you are making in this GS paper too. And in international relations, try to draw maps. So there are around 50 marks from your international relations, 2 15-marker questions and 2 10-marker questions. So there is a high chance of drawing map. So try to learn world map also. Okay, and next thing, so try to give way forward for your governance related questions. And while you're writing your polity answers, try to start with articles or Supreme Court judgments. Okay, so if you're following this, then you can easily write your answers. There will be no problem for you guys if you're following current affairs properly. And especially before your mains, 6 months of current affairs is key. So from that only you will be getting questions. You can check and you can refer that also. Okay, and tomorrow we are going to see GS paper 3, and I am very much excited because I am expecting that the answers will be coming from you guys. So at least go through the paper once, and tomorrow we are going to meet at the same time. Online guys, any doubts? Gausilal, Anbrasu, Kavya, Reshma, Kavya, Rupa, Fahmada. Any doubts so far? Yes or no? If you have doubts, I will be staying 5 more minutes here, or else I will be leaving the session. So tell me fast. So how do you felt whether the session is useful or not? No doubt current affairs analysis is very helpful. Okay. That's all guys, and tomorrow also we are going to meet on the same time, 4:30. Okay. And tomorrow we are going to analyze GS paper 3. And that's all. Thank you so much for attending this class. And if you like this class, please hit the like button and please to subscribe to Rathods IS Academy.